So picture this. India's holding its very first AI Impact Summit. The whole point is to show off the nation's best and brightest tech. But right in the middle of all these displays of genius, one four-legged robot goes viral. And for all the wrong reasons, sparking a huge national controversy. A representative from Galgotias University proudly steps up to the camera and presents Orion, a robotic dog she claims was developed right there on campus. I mean, it's the perfect story of homegrown innovation for a summit like this, but there was just one tiny problem. It wasn't true. And almost immediately, social media just blew up. Online detectives quickly exposed Orion for what it really was, a commercially available robot you can buy from a Chinese company called Unitree. That whole claim of in-house innovation just crumbled, and the backlash was, well, fierce. So you've got to be asking, how did a moment that was supposed to be a triumph turn into a total public relations nightmare? Let's get into the details of what happened. Okay, so this robot at the center of everything, the Unitree Go-2, isn't some secret cutting-edge prototype. It's an off-the-shelf product from China used all over the world for research and education. You can literally buy one in India for a few lakh rupees. The key thing here is that it's a tool for learning, not some kind of groundbreaking, homegrown invention. And you have to remember, the context here is everything. This wasn't just some local tech fair. This was the India AI Impact Summit. The entire point was to shine a spotlight on homegrown Indian talent. So passing off a Chinese product as our own, it didn't just feel like a mistake. To a lot of people, it felt like a deception, and it really struck a nerve. Now, you'd think the story would kind of end there, right? Busted, move on. But no. The university's response just poured gasoline on the fire. Their explanations became this chaotic mess, with the official story seeming to change by the hour. Their attempt at damage control was, well, it was a fascinating train wreck to watch. First, they dismissed all the online criticism as a propaganda campaign. When that didn't work, they tried this word game, claiming it was all a simple misinterpretation between the words develop and development. And finally, they landed on a full apology, basically throwing an ill-informed representative under the bus. But in the middle of all this chaos, the professor who made the initial claim gave an explanation that became legendary. When she was pressed on this misinterpretation, she actually said, "Your 6 can be my 9." And that single quote, it went viral, because it just perfectly captured the absurdity of the whole defense. And get this. It turns out the robo-dog wasn't even an isolated incident. All this new scrutiny revealed a pattern. Another item they had at their booth, a so-called soccer drone they claimed was built from scratch, was also exposed by those online sleuths. It was actually a commercial model from Korea. So yeah, this wasn't just a one-off mistake. So with this pattern of questionable claims starting to emerge, people naturally started digging deeper into the university's history. And what they found? Well, it suggested this whole AI summit incident wasn't exactly an anomaly. That's when prominent industrialist Harsh Goenka stepped in and basically connected the dots for everyone online. He reminded his followers of a previous controversy where faculty from Galgotias had published this pseudoscientific paper claiming that vibrations from bells and plates could kill the coronavirus. He ended his post saying his heart went out to the students. In the history, it gets even darker. If you go back to 2014, the university's top leadership, including its CEO, actually faced arrest on some extremely serious charges: forgery, fraud, and defaulting on over 120 crore rupees in loans. This wasn't just about questionable claims at a tech fair anymore. This started to point to some pretty foundational questions about the institution's integrity. And that comment from Harsh Goenka focusing on the students, that completely shifted the entire conversation. Suddenly, the debate wasn't just about one university's blunder. It became about the thousands of young people who were caught right in the middle. In response, this really powerful message of support for the students started spreading everywhere online. The core idea, shared widely, was this: make your name bigger than your college. It became a kind of call to action, arguing that, in the long run, your skills will always matter more than a paper degree from a place with a tarnished name. Others pointed to the immense pressure on these students and their families. I mean, for so many people, a private university education represents a huge financial sacrifice. It's their dream of a better future. So a controversy like this doesn't just damage a reputation, it puts that entire dream at risk in what's already a super competitive job market. Ultimately, the reason this story just exploded is because it went so far beyond one university's mistake. It became a moment of national embarrassment right on the global stage. And the irony here is just staggering. The university had reportedly claimed to have invested a massive 350 crore rupees into its on-campus AI ecosystem. And yet, the symbol they chose to showcase that huge investment was an inexpensive, off-the-shelf robot from another country. Things got so serious that the government actually had to step in. A top official from the IT ministry publicly stated that misinformation would not be tolerated, making it crystal clear they weren't going to let this scandal overshadow the entire event. The consequence was swift. The university was asked to remove its exhibit. And just like that, the damage went global. International news outlets picked up the story. An event that was meant to showcase India as a rising AI superpower was now being talked about as a story of hype and deception. It was the exact opposite of the narrative India was trying to build. This whole affair really forces us to ask a difficult question. When education starts to be treated more like a business, where marketing and image are prioritized over actual innovation and integrity, who really pays the price? Is it the students who invest their time, money, and futures, or is it the entire nation's reputation on the world stage?